Tom and Huckleberry puzzled over what Injun Joe's number 2 den might be. Number 2 couldn't be a house number, for the houses in the village of St. Petersburg weren't numbered. Eventually, the boys reasoned that it must be the number of a room in one of the town's 2 taverns. Since one of the taverns was respectable and the number 2 room there was occupied by a young lawyer, they decided it must be the number 2 room of the poorer and more disreputable 2nd tavern. Tom made some inquiries and discovered that the rear door of room number 2 opened into a back alley, and he also learned from the tavern keeper's son that the room was locked all the time and that he'd never seen anyone go in or come out except at night. Tom told Huck that he would collect up all the stray house keys he could find, and when there was a night with no moon, they would break in and find the box of treasure. There was brilliant moonlight for the next 3 nights, but Thursday night promised better. Tom slipped out of his house with his aunt's old tin lantern and a large towel to cover it with, as well as an assortment of odd keys. He joined Huckleberry at the head of the alley. Total darkness reigned. Huckleberry stayed on the lookout for Injun Joe, while Tom made his way up the alley. Then there was a season of waiting anxiety that weighed on Huck's spirit like a mountain. Now it seemed hours since Tom had disappeared. In his uneasiness, Huck found himself drawing closer and closer to the alley, fearing all sorts of dreadful things, and expecting some catastrophe to happen that would take away his breath. Suddenly there was a flash of light, and Tom came tearing by him. "Run!" said he. "Run for your life!" He needn't have repeated it. Once was enough. The boys never stopped till they reached the shed of a deserted slaughterhouse at the other end of the village. As soon as Tom got his breath back, he said, "Huck, it was awful. I tried 2 of the keys just as soft as I could, but they seemed to make such a racket I couldn't get my breath. I was so scared. Well, without noticing what I was doing, I took hold of the knob, and open comes the door. It wasn't locked. I hopped in and shook off the towel, and what did you see, Tom?" "Huck, I almost stepped on Injun Joe's hand. He was laying there, sound asleep on the floor with his arms spread out. Drunk, I reckon. I just ran. Say, Tom, did you see that box?" "Huck, I didn't wait to look around." "Looky here, Huck. Let's not try that thing any more till we know Injun Joe's not in there. It's too scary. If we watch every night, we'll be dead sure to see him go out sometime or other. Then we'll snatch that box quicker'n lightning." "Well, I'm agreed. I'll watch the whole night long, and I'll do it every night, too, if you'll do the other part of the job." "All right, I will. All you got to do is trot up Hooper Street a block and meow for a signal. And if I'm asleep, you throw some gravel at the window." "Agreed." The first thing Tom heard on Friday morning was a glad piece of news. Judge Thatcher's family had come back to town from a holiday the night before. Both Injun Joe and the treasure sank into secondary importance for a moment, and Becky Thatcher took the chief place in the boys' interest. The day was crowned in a highly satisfactory way. Becky teased her mother to appoint the next day for a long-promised picnic, and her mother consented. The invitations were sent out before sunset, and straightway the young folks of the village were thrown into a fever of preparation. The party set out at 11 o'clock the next morning. It wasn't the custom for elderly people to mar picnics with their presence, and the children were considered safe under the wings of a few young ladies of 18 and a few young gentlemen of 23, or thereabouts. The old steam ferry boat was chartered for the occasion. The last thing her mother said to Becky was, "You'll not get back till late. Perhaps you'd better stay all night with some of the girls that live near the ferry landing." "Then I'll stay with Susie Harper, Mama." This was agreed, but later Tom had other ideas.